So let's go ahead, let's play this through. Here's Tuesday. Wednesday, we've got snow up in Montana and Wyoming. Light rain, I'm not talking about freezing rain, I'm talking about light rain here into places like Kansas and Kansas City. I'm not too worried about those winter conditions on Wednesday, but as we get into Thursday and Friday, you're going to see those temperatures change. Temperatures are going to drop as we head into the later portion of this week and early next week. Here we are on Saturday, 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. I know you look at this and you say everyone's getting snow. Is that true? No. There's still a lot of unknowns about this map right here. If this colder air moves farther down into the south, we could get a little bit of snow, maybe a little bit of ice into Oklahoma. However, I say that with a big, big, big if this happens. We are still so far out from this, we're still so far out from Saturday, from where this model shows you right now. There are so many things that could change between now and then. More likely what we'll see is we'll see that better chance for snow farther up to the north. So we're talking about places like Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois. That's a better chance to get snow. Farther down to the south, I just think it's still a little bit too warm. We could also see strong to severe storms farther down to the south into places like Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas, Mississippi. I would keep an eye on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday for potential strong to severe storms as well. However, I'll say it again, we're still several days out from this, so a lot could change between now and then. But let's play the what if game. Let's see what our snow accumulations are. By Saturday, Sunday, we could see some snow in the plains. Again, I'm just not betting. If you're a betting person, don't bet on this forecast to verify. I think the better chance here is some snow in the mountainous regions and in the northern states, okay? So we said that yesterday, we're gonna continue with that today. But for that Thanksgiving forecast, I'm gonna go ahead and bring in meteorologist Michaela Smith. Michaela, you showed us our Thanksgiving forecast yesterday. Have we seen any big changes for today?
Talking about snow and stuff like that, what you were just showing, no. You know, people who kind of a week ago, we talked about people were hyping up this massive blizzard on Thanksgiving. No, you know, it's 2 days away from now. We're not really seeing that for a lot of people across the U.S.
Not a white Thanksgiving. So for me to drive to Grandma's house here in the plains, I'm going to be okay?
I think you'll be good.
Okay. I'm excited for this cooler weather, though. Temperatures have dropped. I know that you're excited as well.
Oh, yeah. I just mentioned to Taylor when I walked outside. I was like, it feels colder now. I have my sweater on. It's sweater weather. I've been putting that on all the forecast stuff. I'm like, sweater weather just in time for Thanksgiving. That is something I can get behind. Because when it was a little bit warmer last week, it was not looking forward to, you know, warmer temperatures for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, okay, break down that Thanksgiving forecast. I know a lot of people are making their plans to head out over the next few days. Airplane travel,
oh, yeah.
Tell us what that looks like.
Yeah, so things are gonna, you know, we're not talking about any major snowstorms. You can see the snow accumulation. This goes all the way through Monday. So at this point, we're not saying, you know, oh my gosh, we're gonna see a crazy amount of snow, areas all the way this far to the south too, like Taylor was saying, the plains. There's a chance. We're not locking that in right now. Areas that will probably see a white Thanksgiving is gonna be parts of maybe Minneapolis, so Minnesota, northern Michigan, parts of Wisconsin maybe. That snow is falling today and tomorrow, but temperatures aren't going to get back above freezing, so you could still see some of that snow on the ground. Air travel delays today you can see really in the northern plains. That's going to be because of wind. So areas like Rapid City, Omaha, if you are traveling today for Thanksgiving, trying to get somewhere early before Thanksgiving on Thursday, it's going to be more of a wind threat. We're not talking about crazy snow for most of this area. There is some snow further to the north like Fargo, Minneapolis, you start to see some of that snowfall this afternoon. But areas like all the way to the south in Omaha, that's where we have high wind warnings or wind advisories. So some pretty breezy conditions the rest of today heading into tomorrow. Here's a look at 8:30 in the morning, maybe a few delays in Minneapolis and Chicago. Some snow likely at that point in parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin. There's a look at your Wednesday evening. Then as you head towards Thanksgiving morning, 8 a.m., not seeing any moderate or even major concerns. If there's any travel delays, they are going to be very minor. And then you can see same thing, Thanksgiving evening around 6 o'clock. If you have to leave maybe right after you eat dinner, still not overly expecting any major concerns across the area. By Friday and Saturday, there's that next round of storms that Taylor was mentioning. So you can start to see, especially getting into Friday night, could start to cause some delays in some locations. So if you're heading back home at that point, we could be dealing with stormy conditions Friday into Saturday. So just be prepared that change in the weather pattern could be coming this weekend, even though things are nice and calm on Thanksgiving Day. And then here's a look more towards Saturday night. I know that's another pretty busy travel day. You can see Oklahoma City, St. Louis, Chicago. Might be dealing with some travel delays at that point. Again, that's when we're talking about more storms, areas to the south, possible snow, areas to the north. It all just depends on, it's a very dynamic storm system that we're talking about, how cold that air gets and how quickly, and then where that rain actually is developing. Yesterday, we showed you Oklahoma City's Thanksgiving forecast. Let's look at New York City today. You can see 43 degrees at noon on Thanksgiving, 44 by 3 o'clock, 42 by 6, and then by 9 o'clock in the evening, you're sitting in the 30s. So things are going to stay pretty chilly up in New York. That's why we've been saying sweater weather. Have the layers ready for Thanksgiving. Partly cloudy skies, and those winds will be out of the east at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. So look at these future temperatures. This evening, if you have any travel plans done on your Tuesday, you can start to see really where that colder air moves into place. By tomorrow morning, temperatures are in the 30s and 20s in a lot of locations. Tomorrow evening, you're back into the 20s and 30s. Still a little bit warmer to the south, 40s and 50s and 60s. On Thanksgiving morning, here's 6 a.m., you were in the 20s in Chicago, 22 in Minneapolis, 18 in Bismarck. That's pretty chilly conditions. 30s in Oklahoma City, 40s in Dallas. So cold start to your turkey day. In the afternoon, you may not be sitting on a patio this year, Thanksgiving, if you're kind of central U.S. and to the north. If your areas to the south, highs in the 50s and 60s, is still relatively cool for this time of year for Thanksgiving. But you can see this is 6 o'clock on your Thursday. Some places, again, only in the 20s and 30s Thanksgiving afternoon. And also areas to the north could be a little bit windy just because we're seeing that lower pressure system off closer to the Great Lakes. So you could have some windy conditions on Thanksgiving afternoon. I'll bring Taylor back on now to kind of wrap up more about this forecast heading into the weekend. Like we talked about, things are going to change a little bit more. We have colder air that's moving in after Thanksgiving, heading into the first full week of December. And that's going to give us the possibility more next week of talking about maybe snow in some locations that typically wouldn't talk about it in December. But again, it's so early now. Like, we're not telling you, lock it in, you're going to see snowfall. It's just a heads up. Hey, we're seeing some things, but it's not for sure.
No, not at all. Well, and I want everyone to also remember, if we do see snow in some of these areas, the likelihood that it sticks is low.
Very low.
The likelihood that it's more than an inch or two, very, very low. I mean, the likelihood that we see a few flurries, it's possible. We'll
Makes for great social media posts.
Yeah, it's cute, but you can still get on the roads. And I'm really just not too worried about Oklahoma and Kansas and Nebraska to get those really, really heavy snows quite yet. But we do have changes in the forecast, so I guess we should get in that. I like to think about this with, there's two different storm systems going on. Mm-hmm. We've got that one right now, a break for the holidays, and then we've got that one after the holidays.
We've been making jokes. The weather doesn't take a full holiday. It's taking a short holiday.
Very short one.
Just in time for Thanksgiving. You know, it's kind of being nice, but the weather doesn't take like the full holiday vacation like a lot of people. It doesn't take the 4-day weekend. It takes like the one day.
Just the one day. Well, and you know what? As meteorologists, we're grateful for that one day.
Very grateful.
I will take what I can get. Thank you, Michaela. We appreciate it. But we were talking about the changes, so let's go ahead and see whenever the weather wakes back up. What are we looking at here? Well, that'll most likely be either Friday or Saturday. What we're looking at is this big cold air blast. So you can see actually that we're starting to get a temperature gradient or a change in the temperatures. Colder air back to the west, warmer air down to the southeast. And what that's going to do is it's going to take that Gulf moisture and it's going to create the potential for storms in this area. That cold blast farther up to the north in the plains, and that's your big weather change right there. So what we're talking about is either Friday or Saturday. I would say probably Saturday. This will continue to track to the south with that chance for severe weather farther down into our southern states like Texas, Louisiana, maybe into Mississippi and Alabama, but again, it's just too soon to exactly tell where this is going to set up and the hazards that are going to come with it. But what we do know is we're going to see a big cool down. What we do know here is that we're going to see temperatures drop drastically over the next few days, warm up just a little bit, and then drop once again as that blast of cold air comes in this weekend. Cooler temperatures as we head into the end of the weekend, truly feeling more like fall or maybe even winter for some of us. How long will this stick around? Well, I think as we head into the very beginning of December, the first week of December, which is actually this time next week. I know, can you believe it? We are nearing the end of Thanksgiving for a lot, the end of November, not just the end of Thanksgiving. We are nearing the end of November, so the very beginning of December, this time next week, it looks like temperatures will be below average. It also looks like we are staying on this wet weather trend, which this time of year could mean snow or it could mean rain. We're going to continue to see that as we head into December.